Now, garment workers across Southeast Asia face an uncertain future as the virus batters global demand for clothing. In Bangladesh, the world's second largest garment and textile producer after China, the coronavirus pandemic is threatening the jobs of more than 1 million factory workers. It accounts for 80% of the country's exports. Let's speak to Rubana Hook, president of the Bangladesh Garment Manufacturers and Exporters Association. This must be absolutely devastating. How many people are affected by this at the moment?
Well, we have 4.1 million workers working for the garment sector. And as far as our latest reported on cancellations go, we literally have $3.13 billion worth of cancellations impacting the lives of almost 2.13 million workers. So that's a sizable number. And at the same time, these are only factories who are reporting and uploading in the portal. There are many outside this as well. So potentially we are also stuck with at least 75% of our import liability, which will probably come to something close to $10 billion, almost worth 3 months of production for Bangladesh.
Is there any protection for these workers and for these factories? And as you point out, I mean, there's very much a black economy there as well, isn't there, which is providing unregulated clothing.
Number one, 84% of our economy and our exports depend on garments. So it is an economy that primarily depends on garments. And these workers, of which at least 70% are women, are primary breadwinners of the family. So if you can just imagine one worker supporting 5 people in the family, so it's very clear that at least 20 million people are directly impacted by this. What we basically do is we depend on the buyer's payments. And as soon as they come through, that's how we pay the workers. After we export, we submit our documents to the bank, and that's how we do it most of the time. At this point of time, from the 15th of March onward, we haven't been able to export. And also at the same time, the buyers have been literally telling us that everything's canceled. A couple of them have come forward and have said, we're going to take the goods. Okay, it's going to be deferred payment. We're going to pay you after 180 days. Some are saying, yes, we're going to take it. We don't know when. Some have come back saying, we can't contact our head office because everybody is self-isolating. The reality in your part of the world, in our part of the world, totally different. While you also have, and while we understand, and with full respect, we understand what you're going through, but our reality is one of a manufacturing reality, where we have very, very poor people out there waiting to be paid. So our government has announced a loan for us, a very soft loan, through which we can pay the government back in about 2 years. But this will last us for about a month to 3 months at the max.
Okay.
But this particular first phase is only going to last us only for a month, because we pay $420 million.
All right, Rubana, we will keep across this. Thank you very much indeed, and best of luck over the next month or 3, as you say, Rebecca Huck from the Bangladesh Garment Manufacturers and Exporters Association. Let's catch up with some of the other day's main news this hour. South Korean auto company Hyundai and its affiliate Kia said they have suspended half of their overseas manufacturing plants in keeping with efforts by local governments to curb the spread of the virus. Car makers around the world have had to shut down factories, and vehicle sales have plunged. Xerox, the photocopier firm, says it is rapidly scaling up the production of inexpensive disposable ventilators that could be used instead of hospital-grade ventilators, which are now in short supply. It is working with Vortran Medical, it's a small medical device manufacturer, to scale up production and aims to make 150 to 200,000 devices a month by June. Now, Samsung's profit rose 3% in the first quarter of this year, according to its preliminary reading, which beat analysts' forecasts. Let's get more on this now from Karishma Vaswani, who is our Asia Business Hub, of course, in Singapore. Good news, just talk us through it.
Yeah, well, this is better than what analysts were expecting, Tim. So some positive signals coming out of Samsung. As you know, it's the world's biggest manufacturer of smartphones and memory chips. But, given the fact that more people are working from home now because of shutdowns and lockdowns all over the region on their laptops and smart devices, that's likely to ramp up demand for memory chips, which could help to offset the fall in demand for new products like televisions and smartphones, because as people lose their jobs, there's worries that they won't be able to spend money on those sorts of things. Now, Samsung did ramp up its production in its factories in Vietnam and in India when facilities in China were shut down because of the coronavirus. A little earlier, I spoke with an industry analyst, Mark Einstein. He told me what's been driving the demand for Samsung's memory chips.
I think that the huge, orders that their semiconductor business got were largely from companies that are making 5G smartphones, because this was supposed to be the first year of real 5G. And so that has helped Samsung. But I think going forward, the demand might just absolutely be pummeled. In South Korea, for example, which is right now the global leader in 5G, we're getting 2/3 discounts on the phones that are out there. So I'm very concerned about margins. And I'm very concerned about demand. And so I think that, this really depends on how this pandemic pans out. But I think fourth quarter this year or even into 2021 is when we could see a recovery in the market.
Okay, with that news and the latest from Singapore, Karishma Vaswani there. Thank you very much indeed.